What is up, everybody? So I'm going to be showing off the level that I made in the Far Cry 5 level editor. First thing I'm going to show you guys is a lot of the bugs that I've been finding in the level editor itself. And these, from what I understand, are not just on Xbox One, these are actually across the board. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is the issue with the AI spawning. It's become unreliable. When I first made my level, these Yetis spawned perfectly. I'm going to this so you can see that I have them attached correctly. So the purple pinkish box that's around the Yeti is the one that's attached to that particular part of the script. This script is triggered by sorry, I always forget about the speed. Is triggered by this trigger volume, no pun intended, and these are also triggered by it. Now I'm going to show you guys that what happens. Now one bug that I've been running into is that these guys will half spawn. By that I mean the models will not spawn, as in the visual. The attack AI, the thing that makes them attack the player, that doesn't activate. However, in some cases their collision activates, and their audio cues, such as the one you're hearing now, activates as well. And I can even see them through the crosshair of my gun, meaning like it just turns red. It's not like they become visible. So just so that you guys can actually see that glitch in action, because I did just try this when I tried to record it a couple minutes ago. The thing that threw me off is the fact that they didn't do the second thing where they half spawn, which is what they've been doing, so it threw me. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go in here. You're going to hear the trigger volume. Definitely works. Now, I've had people say that I need to not be facing them for them to spawn. However, when I first started testing this, they would spawn regardless, whether I was looking at them or not. Like I'd actually be able to see them appear. Oops. So really fast. I'm going to show that off. Because see, I was right in front of them. Nothing. So, right. So I'm going to go that. I'm going to go in here, trigger it, while looking still toward the bunker. So completely 180 from them. Or essentially the same direction they're facing, just away. So, trigger volume activated, confirming distance. Now I come back, and they're still not there. The distance between me and them is no different than it used to be. If anything, they're probably farther away, and they're not even half spawning anymore, which is new. So, bug. The reason I'm showing this is because one of the requirements for my class was to have an optional area, such as this one, where they will have a challenge, such as the Yetis that are supposed to spawn. Since they don't, I wanted to make sure that I showed this and that the bug is there and active and still affecting the project itself. You'll also notice that admittedly there are some things that aren't in this level that are supposed to be based on my project. However, due to the amount of time that I had to invest into fixing attempting to fix the AI through literally every permutation that's potentially possible, meaning I'd remove one Yeti, I'd try the other one. I'd remove both Yetis, I'd try a cow, I'd remove the cow, I'd remove every AI on here, including Wave 1 and Wave 2, try to spawn in, a Wolverine, and like something smaller, and still nothing. The other bug that is occurring is the fact that, and this is why I entered this in play mode, because I want to make sure that I spend a couple of minutes, even though it will put me over my time, showing these bugs, just so that my just so that you can visually see them in action. So I'm going to take my player spawn point, put it over there so I can test and show you guys what happens. So these three are AI that are supposed to spawn in Wave 2. Wave 2 is supposed to spawn uniformly based on the alarms. Now, for anyone watching this who's played Far Cry, yes, I know. This is not how Outpost is supposed to be. In fact, I'm breaking the game mode by doing this and having an alarm at each post. Mainly because I can't assign them to a particular wave. meaning I can't have these volumes spawn wave 2 and have wave 2 come in just for this space, and then have this one spawn wave 3. Doesn't work like that. It's uniform. I can't control that. And like with all these bugs, I'm not even joking. I legit thought about like taking the game and editing the code in the game. However, and please bear with me if you're some legal guy. One, I've got it digital on my Xbox, so I have no idea how to do that from my computer. And two, I know it would be illegal because it would be breaking the terms and conditions and modifying their product. So obviously can't do that. So I tried everything that I possibly could with the Wave 2 AI because there is another issue with them. They're supposed to spawn uniformly. The reason I stress that is because they don't. I probably should have made a test level that I could show this in. However, I tested this because my roommate suggested that it could be a memory issue. However, that would create a core issue with the level editor itself, seeing as how it's telling me I've got 82.8% memory used. So, kind of strange. So what I did to test that was I literally removed everything in the entire level except for two wave 1 people, because I couldn't get one to like activate the alarm every time, and then turned around, see if these guys were there. They weren't. Looked over here, there was one guy instead of two, and the weird part was it was the guy who was farther away. The other thing is that when I came around, there were all these guys here, and none of them have spawned. So these guys didn't, like, none of wave 2 for the most part, except for like a guy here and there, most of them did not spawn when the alarm was activated. And the reason I know that, well, other than obvious reasons of setting the alarm off here and driving down to look for any other guys, because I mean this should be a death row, when I get here, these guys have spawned. And then once these guys have spawned and I get into here, these guys spawn. Now, the reason I mentioned before that I took off all of Wave 1 AI except for 1 or 2 is because of the fact that I wanted to disprove this being a memory issue and show that it's not, you know, because there is the exact same amount of AI for Wave 2 with 2 guys from Wave 1 to activate the alarm over here at base 1. And when they activated the alarm, one person here showed up, I drive through, and I put the, or no. Yeah, I actually took out all these guys and put them all over here because my roommate also suggested the view may be the issue, like meaning how close I am to them and whether they're in my view. And so what I did was I spawned all of them in this little crook, and then I stood all the way over there, walked into the wall into the corner, after like firing a sniper and trying to get these guys to set the alarm off, and then drove over, and there still weren't people there. So the issue there is the fact that like you can see the distance of this, you know. This square, if I remember correctly, is actually about, I want to say like 50 meters by 50 meters. Like this terrain is absolutely huge, which is why there's this dead space over here. But yeah, so with that, I could not get the AI to spawn correctly, uniformly, or, well, the way it's supposed to. So because of that, that's why I spent the last few minutes going over this, was because I wanted to make sure that it was clear that I did try everything that I could. I didn't just say, oh, it doesn't work, and I put the controller down. I said, oh, it doesn't work, what can I try? And I tried every permutation of every possible thing that I could have possibly done. Looked it up everywhere that I could, and these are issues that I've been finding posts on from like the beginning of this month, and it's April right now, like mid-April. So these are things that I cannot fix. So I just wanted to make sure that I showed them, made sure that like, one, I didn't get any points off, and two, wanted to make sure that it was shown so that in case any of my classmates didn't show it, that they don't get points off for this, because we can't do anything unless we literally break the law, and we're not about to do that. Meaning, like, actually hack the game. But, so yeah. Now that that's there, I'm going to go ahead and play. That way I can go ahead and show what happens when I spawn, or when I get someone to trigger the alarms.
Outpost.
Okay. Not gonna lie, it is morning and I'm just waking up. Get away from me, sniper. I don't want you. There we go. Okay, so I'm standing in the spot where the reinforcements are. This is where I can understand not spawning them in. Correct. Now, I'm running. Reason, I'm getting a car. Because I'm not walking this whole way, and I doubt you guys want to see me walk this whole way. Because right now this video is not only for class, but it's also so that everybody can see these bugs in action. So I'm going to skip this base real quick, because there should be people right here, and then we'll go down death row, and there should be people down here, and then this is actually something I haven't exactly tested yet. I haven't tested driving all the way down and seeing what happens when I get over here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, they don't spawn even then. So you can see the wave 2 people did not spawn, even though the alarm was activated. So we're going to go ahead and go back to base 1, future me. Go ahead and do the thing, cut this out. Future me, go back. Okay, we're gonna have a look on that. Okay, not that much. Oh, I put some flag guys here. Okay. Oh, ouch. Okay. I actually kind of wanted to do that, so future me, you could probably cut that bit out too. Yeah, let's not do that. Now, instead of playing through the whole thing, because I've shown what happens, oh, I always forget that happens. That's so weird. Like, yeah, I don't like that. Like, why is it that when you die and you return to the level editor, it makes you look the direction that your character's face was facing? Because, like, I was facing down when that guy died. Anyway, so first thing I'm going to show is my big base. So the theme that I went with is Ancient Egypt, of course, because I freaking love Ancient Egypt. And so I called it Return of Bayek, is the name of my level. At first, I had this and the Sphinx in the same area. This is why this little area is a little bit bigger, because it was actually over here. And then it was actually too big, so I had to cut it in half. So I cut it, used this as the main base, which on top you can see has the alarm, you can see has a sniper. I think this guy is a rocket. Yeah, this guy's a rocket dude. And then I put another alarm down here. You can see the objective markers on each one, which, again, for people who play Fallout or Far Cry, please forgive me. I know this is a blasphemous level of outpost, because it is going against everything that outpost is. So I used scaffolding actually from the Assassin's Creed Syndicate, I believe, and then I actually had to use multiple staircases that I actually flipped upside down, which is why they're half. So you can see under here, there's actually the other half of the stairs. Which, the reason I did that was because I went ahead and tried to figure out a way to get the player to the top. And even like that I know is actually a little low. So essentially what I did was I decided that I need to get players to the top. And the reason for that was because it's such a high area that it creates a really good vantage point for snipers, plus a really good defensive point for a alarm, especially because this alarm is not one that you can really hit from the ground too easily. So you essentially have to sneak in this area a lot more, or you take out the snipers and the sniper and the other guys over there before they get up to the alarm. That way, anybody else who wants to takes a lot longer to get there. Like this guy would have to come over here, climb a couple things, and then he'd be able to get over there. Yeah, okay. Didn't appear for a second. Anyway, over here you can see I used stairs. I actually used the developer stairs. Put on my own, not my own, but a separate material to give them a more brick look. Unfortunately, there was nothing that perfectly matched the Egyptian style, and there were no actual stairs from the Egyptian one other than these, and those ones wouldn't exactly work too well there because of well, the distance that they are. So like that would end up bringing you basically down to here, and I mean, with that stair trick, I mean, yes, I could have done it, but it would have been too repetitive and it wouldn't have fit the style. It also would have been sticking out a lot more here than this appears to be, because I actually used other rectangles to fit in the back. And sorry, I keep forgetting about the speed, so I keep jetting around. So over there I've got some ammo, little ammo boxes. Over on, where was it? Oh, right. Over on this, I've got a couple climbies, little climbable ledges. On here, I put a grapple. My roommate suggested that, and I just fell in love with the idea. So I've got a grapple here to make it so that you can attach onto it and get up there a little faster than normal. And then, so the Sphinx right here, I went ahead and put its butt, can't swear on YouTube anymore, I guess, into the mountainside. That way it kind of looked like it was buried by sand a little bit. Putting a couple statues on the side. Then I was going to put him on the back. I couldn't resist. I really couldn't. Especially because it's such a good vantage point, and it challenges the player in a different way. Because I noticed that you can't get as close as you expected before taking him out. Then I've got a couple of guys here, and I fell in love with this idea when I was like, I wonder if it'll fit in there. And when I tried it, when I had the bases together, it worked like a beauty. So I went ahead and left it there because it's like, I don't know, I just imagine like a cat holding onto that, or like my dog chewing on a bone or something. So quick tour of this one. On here, my roommate asked me why I put down 2 alarms, and then we both proceeded to fall for them. Because the reason that I put them here was so that one gets the player's attention while the other kind of slips under the radar. That way you're like, oh cool, I got the alarm, sweet. Or you get so close in here that you don't focus on like the other people that could be there. So you start shooting at that alarm, and then you're just kind of screwed, which I thought was hilarious when I fell like for my own trap. Here I've noticed that some of the assets don't play very well, so I try to use the ladder with the building. This is literally something I cannot change. Even on this one, they kind of distance out a little bit more than I would have liked. And on this one, there's an even bigger problem where it makes it difficult to climb on the bottom. And I tried backing it up more, but it got to an uncomfortable point where the player could potentially get stuck between the building and the ladder, and I didn't want to risk that. I would rather have the player just jump before getting onto the ladder than getting stuck at the top, because one's unfair while the other's a minor inconvenience. And so along with that, I gave the player 4 choices of vehicles, made sure that all fit in the sand motif. Got a little, I always get dune buggies mixed up. 4-wheeler, another 4-wheeler. I don't know what this is called. I forget every time. Yeah. Oh wait, no. Yeah, that doesn't help much. Razor. It's a razor. There we go. You can shave with it. So you got a Jeep here, and this thing here. Honestly, I think this one's the fastest. So I showed this at the start of the level, but I didn't give much detail on it. So my thoughts on this were the fact that I wanted the player to get curious at the crossroad here, about what's down here. You know, you go here, you're like, oh, there's a big base, but there's a door there. I want to know the door, and you come over there. Naturally, you're going to be drawn here. You're going to go in here. You're probably going to take a peek, and you're going to realize, holy crap, there's a ton of ammo, ton of guns, ton of good shit in there. And in fact, I put a 50 caliber, a rocket launcher, all that kind of good shit in here, including silenced weapons, so that it makes it easier to beat the level, which is why there's, you know, 2 Yetis. I figured if I'm going to up the challenge in an area, more so than the rest of the level, I want to make it so that you get a, you know, nice reward out of it, because I always hate when, you know, you beat a big boss and you don't get shit. So, in here, you'll see, and give me one sec, actually, just to, because the laughing is going to get really annoying, trust me. So I'm going to go ahead and mute the game audio, and we're going to go in here, and I'm going to show you. Sorry if the audio didn't mute, just in case, but, so essentially in here, I've got, the ammo bags. These duffel bags are just decoration. I figured they kind of added a nice little look. I gave 2 bits of body armor, so that the player can come out here, beat the Yetis, and, you know, come back in, get another one for the rest of the level. A couple of med packs in here, tons of ammo, and then you've got the smorgasbord of awesomeness here. God, that laughing is annoying. If you guys can't hear it, it's so annoying when you're just sitting in here. So I've got all these. I added a nerve rifle thing. It's a nerve something. And then I've got all this type of ammo. I've got the 50 caliber right there, and a couple of guns over here, and all that nice little stuff there. Because I added arrows because there is a loadout that you can choose that lets you kind of go with Bayek's loadout from Assassin's Creed, where he kind of goes with a what is it, like bow and arrow, you know, old school kind of like weaponry and such. So yeah, basically that's all I got so far, just so that you guys can look it up yourself. That's the name right there, the Return of Bayek, without the V, so it's just Return of Bayek. Got a few loadouts for you, and yeah, so all those bugs I definitely know about. No need to let me know in the comments. But yeah, see you guys in the next video.